I'm Janet Clark, and you are listening to the Sales Matchmaker Podcast. Hello out there. It is Janet Clark, and I am your host on the Sales Matchmaker Podcast, and I am the Sales Matchmaker. So today I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been in a situation where maybe you've been in an interview for a sales job or you've worked for a sales manager who said to you, "Sell me this pen," right? Or you might remember the scene from The Wolf of Wall Street where Leonardo DiCaprio was playing the Jordan Belfast, or I think it was Jordan Belfort. And he asked a room full of salespeople at a seminar to sell him a pen. Now he hands the pen to one salesperson, and the guy begins to describe all about the pen, telling him what an amazing pen it is, right? And so Jordan is not satisfied with that, so he takes the pen and he hands it to another salesman. And he says the same thing. He repeats the challenge. And again, the salesman just starts talking about all the features of this great pen. And Jordan moves on. Now, there was another point in the movie where he was sitting with a bunch of friends at a bar or cafe, and he said to one of his friends, "Sell me this pen." And so his friend's response was, "Okay, see this napkin? Yeah, write your name on it." And so Jordan says, "Well, I don't have a pen." And the response was, "Great, exactly. Supply and demand." Now, neither of these two examples that were in the movie were correct. Like, that would not be how you would actually go about selling somebody a pen. So today, I'm going to share with you exactly how you could sell a pen. And here it is. So first of all, I want to say this. The way you sell anything is the way you sell everything. So sales is sales. And what I mean is that I have a acronym for sales, which is sharing a life-enhancing solution. So you want to discover how the pen is going to enhance the life of your prospect. It doesn't matter what the bells and the whistles and the features are on the pen. What matters is, does this pen represent something that the prospect needs or wants? If not, you're not going to be able to sell it to them. So first, let's talk about, why do people buy? The forces that influence people to buy are really only two things. They have basic needs, which are those survival needs that we all have. They're going to buy food, clothing, shelter. And other than that, everything is based on emotion. So people are looking for status. They're looking for safety. They're looking for some kind of comfort, prestige, convenience. And here's the thing, until you determine what your specific prospect needs, there's no way that you're going to convince them to buy anything unless that thing that you're selling to them, whether it's a program or whether it's a pen, actually fulfills some need that they have. So here's another way to look at it. As a coach or a consultant or an agency owner, you have your own unique system or program that offers some sort of transformation for an individual or for a business. And unless that person actually has a need for that transformation that you offer, all the amazingness of your system just really doesn't matter to them, because it's not something that they need or want. Now, the other day, I was on a coaching call, and the client that I was working with said to me, "How can I sell my membership sites? Like, I have this amazing offer." Well, that would be the same thing when she says to me, "How do I sell a membership site?" is the exact thing as saying to me, "How do I sell this pen?" It depends on what that membership site is going to do for that person, or why they would need the membership site or the pen. So I went a little forward with her, and I said to her, "What is the transformation that you offer your clients? What's keeping them up at night? Now, when I asked her that question, she was able to explain to me that there were things that people were worried about how to transform their business from a one-on-one coaching business to something that was much more scalable, something where they could create recurring revenue and impact a lot more people. That was the thing they were staying up at night worrying about. So, now her solution to how are they going to serve more people? How are they going to get more consistent cash flow? How are they going to put a system in place so they can scale their business is a membership site. So that is her solution, her thing that she's going to offer them to solve the bigger need that they have. So hopefully that makes sense. Because let's face it, people aren't laying in bed at night trying to figure out what pen to buy. Just like they're not laying in bed at night trying to figure out what membership site to get, right? It doesn't work that way. So the pen, or in her case, the membership site, is really the answer to their need. So let's get back to how would you sell this pen? Exactly the same way you would sell anything. Get to know your prospect, build rapport, ask them questions. And I call it heart flow. So the way that I explain how to do a high ticket sale is to use the heart flow framework. And heart flow goes like this. Each of the letters is a step in the process that you would go through. So heart flow is an acronym. So it starts with the H, hello, and hear what the client, who they are and what they're all about, right? You build some rapport with them in the H stage. Next, you explain to them that you're going to ask them some questions so you can determine if you can help them. Then A is ask questions. You want to get some answers about what they need, what they want, what they desire, what their challenges are, what their motivation is. So A is ask questions. Then you get to R, which is recap. Like you've listened to them. Now make sure that you can restate it back to them, what you heard them say. Then T is what I call the teaching stage. It's also the transition point where you kind of go from, I've figured out what you need. Now I'm going to transition to explaining to you how I can fulfill that need. So we start by teaching them something. And it's something that is going to set you up as an expert. It's going to validate where you stand in terms of your industry knowledge. And I actually have a whole training on how to do heart flow, so I'm not going through all of that today, but I'm just kind of giving you a refresher on that. So after the teaching moment, F is the next letter, and that stands for feelings. So you want to find out, how do you feel about what I just told you? And usually what they feel is some sort of relief, because now they understand what they're going to need to do in order to resolve this problem that they have, that there is a solution to it, and that you actually know what it is. And L is the next step. That's lay out your offer. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this in a minute, because what this is going to show you, what I'm going to teach you there, is how the pen or the membership site is going to actually transform their life or their business. And that's what you do when you lay out your offer. O is own the silence. So now you've made them an offer, you've given them the price, so you shut up and you let them internalize that. You let their brain work. You don't know what they're thinking at that point. So you give them a chance to be the next person to speak. And when they do, they're either going to give you some sort of an objection, if you want to call it that, which is basically just a request for more information, or they're going to say, yeah, let's do it, right? Which is ultimately, if you're good at sales, what they're going to say. And then finally will be the wrap up. And that will just be getting the deal done. Hopefully they'll sign it with the new pen you just sold them. So let's go a little deeper into this. Let's say that I was going to sell you the pen. Now, let's imagine that this pen says sales map on it. And the only way that you can get to enroll in the sales map program is to buy this pen. Okay. Now, at this point, you probably don't see any real value in the pen, and you probably don't really want to enroll in the sales map program because you have no idea what it's going to do for you. You don't know if you need it. You don't know if you want it. So let's say that I have a conversation with you where we build some rapport and we get to know each other a little bit. And then I start asking you some questions. And while I'm asking you those questions, let's say that you're a coach or you're a consultant who is stuck at the six-figure mark in your business. So we have to kind of paint the scenario. And as a coach or a consultant, you have some one-on-one clients. You've been able to have some really good months, but you've also had some really crappy months. And it's kind of a roller coaster for you. And the point is, you're working a lot of hours and you're taking your own sales calls and you're mostly getting these onto these sales calls through either your own networking, something you're doing outreach on social media, maybe you're doing some Facebook Lives, maybe you're getting some referrals, but it's pretty random. And sometimes you've got a lot of sales calls, sometimes you don't. But no matter what, you're busy and you're spending a lot of hours and you feel like you're going nowhere fast. But you do have a business that's hovering at that six-figure mark. So in my questioning, all that has come out. So I know that about you. And we've identified that this is where you are right now. So now let's assume that you have this dream. And your dream is that you really, really want to scale up. And you want to serve more clients. And you want to really fulfill a higher purpose that you feel you have. So you feel underutilized in a way, you know you've got more skills, and you just don't really know how you're going to get there, but that's the dream you have. And you feel really ready to take that leap and to put yourself out there in a bigger way, to be able to bring in more clients and focus more on fulfilling and delivering for those clients. So you also know, though, that if you stop selling your own programs, even though you'd love to get off the phone and turn your focus from lead generation and sales calls to working with more clients and fulfilling more, you know that if you stop doing that, your business is going to die. So you're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place, let's say. Now imagine that after this conversation, and I kind of recap it all for you, and we agree, yes, I understand what your issue is. We recognize that you really do want to bring on a salesperson. And you're not sure, though, if the salesperson is going to be able to help you because you customize a lot of your offers. You do one-on-one work with people, and you really don't have a program that's duplicatable for every single person. But you love the idea of it, right? Having a salesperson, if that could ever work for you, that would really be liberating for you. It would give you a lot of freedom. And even if you could, though, get that salesperson in, you wouldn't even know how to find them. Like, how would you recruit a salesperson? How would you interview them? How would you train them, get them onboarded? What would they be selling? How would you manage that person? And then how would you obviously retain that good salesperson? So that's the challenge that you're facing. So we get all that established. And now imagine that I come along and I say something to you, like I'm going to teach you a fact that you may not be aware of, which is that in the consulting industry, 90% of consultants and coaches never surpass the six-figure mark. We already know that 80% actually end up failing, but 90% of the people who make it, they can never get past that six-figure mark. And the 10% who do scale up past six figures into multi six figures and seven figures in their business, they do three things differently. Would you want me to share with you what those three things are? Now, more than likely, I can't hear your response, but I bet you're saying yes. And that's exactly what would happen if we were on a sales call. You would say, yes, I want to know, what are those three things? And so I would share them with you. And I would say, number one, that 10% of people who do scale up their business, number one, they have an irresistible offer targeted to an exact ideal client. They know exactly who needs it, and they can target that client, and their offer is irresistible. The second thing is that they have a system in place to consistently generate new leads in their business and enroll new clients. It's not random, it's actually a sales system. The third thing they do differently is they learn how to be a leader. They learn how to have a team of people and lead that team of people in a very effective way, and particularly how to lead so that they retain top sales talent. So if you knew that that was the success formula, you had to have an irresistible offer, you had to have a sales system in place, and you just had to know how to be a good leader, how does that make you feel? Now, again, I've talked to enough people that I can tell you that the majority of people are going to say, that feels amazing. Like, that makes total sense to me. And I could see how that could be possible for me. So now you know that there is a possibility that if you could focus on those three things and get them done right, you could actually scale your business up past that stuck point where you are right now. So now I would ask you, would you like me to lay out for you how this pen right here is going to get you into this top 10%? And give you those three things that we just talked about? And obviously, you're going to say, yes, that pen is the answer. I want to know, how does that work? Right? Because this pen is something that every single Sales Map client gets when they enroll in Sales Map. So hypothetically, I'm sharing with you that this pen is really your ticket to freedom and your ticket to sales growth in your business. So now, do you feel like maybe you might want or need this pen? So let me explain to you how you can get it and how it works. Okay, so Sales Map is what you get if you buy the pen. Okay, and Sales Map is a three-stage or three-phase program. In phase one, you are going to get the guidance and the help that you need to determine who your ideal client is and how to design your irresistible offer. And then you can use the pen to actually calculate how to price that offer for maximum impact for you and for your clients, and so that you are going to run a very profitable business. Okay, that's phase one. In phase two of Sales Map, you are going to actually go through what we call a sprint. And during this sprint, we are going to work closely with you, and we are going to show you how to generate leads on a consistent basis through LinkedIn, through conversational outreach in a step-by-step way that's very simple to execute on and does not take a long time, maybe an hour a day on your part. And what's going to happen during this 30-day sprint is you are going to fill your pipeline with qualified candidates. And you are going to be able to get to the point where you are booking 3 to 5 qualified sales calls every single week and closing 50% of them. So this is where you are going to implement a system that is duplicatable, that now, because we've shown you how to do it, we can actually match you up with a salesperson who can take that exact system and they can duplicate it over and over and over again, and you do not have to do it yourself any longer. So in phase 3, your newly matched salesperson is going to start doing prospecting and selling for you. And you're going to learn how to lead that sales pro in a way that allows you to be a good sales manager / leader, but at the same time, shift your focus over to fulfillment so you can actually do what you came here to do, which is serve your clients at a high level. And you'll have broken through that 6-figure barrier. You'll have a consistent flow of new clients coming in, and your salesperson will just be continually bringing new business into your coaching program or consulting. So you are going to be able to hit that 7-figure mark together, you and your salesperson. So the investment for the program is to buy the pen. And the investment in the pen is $20,000. And by the way, your ROI is guaranteed when you buy this pen. In fact, you can expect 5 or 10x ROI over the course of the next 12 to 18 months once you make this investment to grow your business using this pen to enroll in SalesMap. So now, do you get how to sell a pen? So that's it for today's episode. I'll be back next week, and I'm going to be talking about how to eliminate preventable mistakes that you're making in high-ticket sales. But in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me, Janet@thefreedomshift.com, and let me know whether you might have some interest in buying a pen. All right, until next week, happy selling and bye for now. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Sales Matchmaker Podcast. To hear more episodes, visit us at www.thesalesmatchmaker.com.